everyone, welcome back to part 3 of the pocket knife build. In part 2 we left off with me just setting it up on this block, okay, and I needed to do a little final filing to get this to close correctly. It literally took like 3 minutes. I didn't even bother filming it, but I'll show you what it looks like when I take this apart. So now got great spring action, great walk and talk, if you ever heard that phrase before. I believe this gentleman by the name of Ben Kelly Jr. had this book for about, I guess 20 years or so. The way he describes it, walk and talk. That sharp snap that is heard while opening and closing a blade is talk, while the spring tension that causes the blade to spring closed or open is walk. So we definitely have some good walk and talk. And I have a little, I don't know what they call that when the blade kind of opens this way and stops. I don't have a positive stop on it, but I have just a little bit. So it's working great. So what I did next is I just put the template on it and drew around it. So now I'm going to take this apart and I'm going to switch these liners. I'm going to put this liner at the bottom, and then I'll reset it up so you can see what it looks like. And then we're going to make sure that all our workings, the spring and the blade, everything fit within that template. Because if it doesn't, we'll have to adjust it. So let me do that and I'll be back. Okay, so now I had switched the liners. Where I did the grinding was right in here. So that enabled this blade to close and fit within the scribe line. Now I may just do a little grinding here, change this angle a little bit just to get it to fit in a little bit closer because I have no more room here to do it. So we're looking good. You watched me do the original grind on it, so I won't bore you watching me do that again. But I'll take this apart and I'll do both liners exactly the same, and then I'll show you how that looks. Alright, so I have it all trimmed up, both of the liners. We have the tip of the blade is covered here. I have enough room to put a thumbnail in there. It's looking good. Got a little bit of trimming to do there, but I could do that off camera, but we're looking good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up the, make the bone scales. And then the final thing we're going to do is grind the blade and hopefully don't ruin it. Because then we'll have to make a new blade. But it's looking good so far. So let me get the bone. I'll show you the bone and how we're going to cut it up and make some slabs out of it. Alright, so here's the bone. This is a shin bone from a cow. And this just bought in the pet shop. Now just, if you're going to buy a piece of bone, try to get a thick one. This is where the marrow is. Some of them are very thin on the outside. And if you could see this, remember I call this pith, with the deer antler buttons and stuff. You're going to want to not use that. So if you could see, it runs all the way up to there. Now it's okay if that's on the inside, but the outside has got to be the smooth bone, otherwise it's not going to polish up. So now I have two choices. I could either make it what they call jigged. If you see here, you use a Dremel tool. You make those little marks. Then you use, I'm probably not going to say it right, potassium permanganate to stain it, okay? And or you leave it plain bone. I kind of like this better. This has its place, but I kind of like this. It just reminds me of ivory. So I'm probably going to do it like this, but we'll see when we get to that. And then the other thing is when you're doing the pins, if you notice, these pins are flat, and then this pin is what they call spun. So they have a tool that spins that round. I'm not sure why they do that, if it's just aesthetics, but I may attempt to make a tool to do that, but I'm not sure yet. But so I'm going to take this over to the jigsaw, not the jigsaw, the scroll saw. I'm going to try to cut it. I'm not sure if it's going to work. I remember cutting bone years ago. I was made some scales for something else, and I believe I cut it by hand, but it was probably 25 years ago. I really don't remember. So I'm going to try to cut this on the scroll saw to get some slabs out to make our scales for the pocket knife. So I'll take you over there. Alright, that's working. But I don't think you need to watch me cut that whole thing off, but when I get this all sliced down, I'll be back. Okay, so we have the two slabs cut out. Now we need to flatten them and get them uniform thickness, and we're going to do that on the belt sander. Alright, so you see how that goes. I'll finish this up and I'll bring you back and show you what they look like. Alright, so these, the blanks came out awesome. I guess you would call them slabs. Really liking it. I got a nice piece of bone out of both of those. I got them nice and flat. They're not exactly the same, but there's going to be some more grinding and, you know, shaping. But they're a little proud of the liners, which is good. So I can take it all down to the perfect dimensions. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drill the holes. We'll use this as a template. We'll drill one hole, put a pin in, drill the other hole, put a pin in, and then drill the third hole. So I'll get set up at the drill press and I'll be back. Okay, that's 3 holes in this one. I'll do the same thing on the other one, and then we'll be over to the sander. Alright, gonna do a little sanding on this. Alright, so you get the idea with that. I'll do a little bit more on this one and the other one, and then I'll bring you back to the table. Alright, so we have these ground down, pretty close to finished. We'll do the final sanding on this once we get the knife all together. But we got pretty close to the end. So the next thing to do is we're going to grind the blade. So let me get this on there. I don't need all the pins. Just want to see where we want to put the grind. We're going to say right about there. I think I'm going to come in on an angle. Something like that. Alright, so I'm going to have to figure out some jig to hold this, because obviously I can't hold it like this. Just not enough meat on there. And I'm a little leery of taking it over to my 4x36 because that thing's a beast. And it's really not the proper tool, and this is a pretty thin blade. So I may do this by hand, but I got to set up some kind of jig. So let me figure that out, and then I'll bring you back when I got that. Alright, you may recognize I'm over at the belt sander. I made a couple of jigs for the knife to hold it, and I did too good of a job heat treating it and tempering it, and files are not going to work. So I'm going to have to try my hand again at the 4x36, doing a little grinding that way. So wish me luck. Alright, got a good grind going on there. No idea what it looks like underneath there, but I had to bevel this because the edge of my jig was hitting the platen. So I'm going to do a little bit more, and then I'll unveil it at the table, and we'll all get to see what it looks like together. Alright, so we're back at the table. Here's the moment of truth. I'm either going to love this or I'm going to be really annoyed. Let's get these pins out. Loosen the screw. Right off the bat I could see that plunge line curved. Oh, it's pretty straight, so I'm happy with that. Actually, it's really not curved. It's just kind of didn't hit that last part right there. I think that's totally salvageable. Wow, okay. I think the blade is not trashed. It's not trashed. I think a little hand sanding and we can get this looking good. Yeah, it's just like the last hit didn't hit that. It's really not curved. I think we'll be okay. So I think this is a good time to end this part because I'm definitely not going to be able to finish it today. So I'm going to wrap this up. Again, everyone, I appreciate your views. I appreciate your comments. And we'll have one more part. It'll be part 4. And we'll get this finished, sharpened up and ground. And we'll get it into the knife, fit it up. And we'll do the final fit and finish and put it all together. So thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next one.